grades are kept on the report card as a percentage. And so that helps them calculate grade rankings for high school and that kind of thing. Scholarship eligibility, I don't know, etc. So that's going to continue, but we also have a system of IB marks. And what we're looking at there is progress, growth in certain objectives that we're all looking for. For example, all three of our subject areas have communication as an objective, and we hope to see that they're getting better and better and how they can communicate. Knowledge and understanding is one of mine. I think research is one that we all have in common, inquiry or research. So on these objectives, different projects throughout the year, at least one every 6 weeks, is showing their opportunity to show depth of knowledge, critical thinking, depth of understanding, ability to communicate their learning in other ways than bubbling something or filling in a blank, right? And we do want them to be articulate young people and be more prepared for the kind of education that's not just bubble test. Life, you know, I can't say I choose A for life. We have to be able to express ourselves and explore ideas. So IB encourages that, and the IB marks then are criterion related. It doesn't mean that a child is failing if his mark is a 4. It's a scale of 7 or 8 for most of our classes. So a 0 means they didn't really make any measurable effort. A 1 or a 2 could be passing. It could be a minimal effort or a minimal ability, but something was done. 3s and 4s are showing some progress in learning. 5s and 6s, they're getting pretty good. 7s and 8s, they've mastered the criteria, whatever it is, at the best that I could hope a 6th grader could do. So if you see a 4 for a grade, or a 5, your child is progressing and growing, and we're hoping that as they move through the middle school, through the middle years program, they're going to reach those 7s and 8s as they get ready for high school. So please don't get mad and think that the 3 or the 4 meant that he only got half of the 8 and that's a 50 and that's unacceptable. That's not the case. The 4 is an okay grade. There's some growth going on.
And I was going to add something. For language A, if you go to the EduLine page, the web page for our school, and you click on language A. Language A is English Language Arts. We're called language A because it's English. Language B is Spanish. With language A, we have our rubrics. That's how the kids are scored for their projects. And we also have our what we call our task sheet. And the task sheet is what's required of the student for the project. So if you go back, we have all of ours posted there, from the very first one that we did to the one that we just finished called Mom, Buy Me That. And they all tie into our TEKS and what the kids are learning and what they need to learn to take, you know, that standardized test that we take in April, which we'll talk about soon. But they are there. They get 2 grades. They get what we call the IB grade that Ms. Sosa just talked about, and then they also get a project, the percentage grade that's averaged into their grade point average.
So your report card is going to show the average, including that test grade, that project grade. But if you want to know their progress on these skills, these IB criteria, then that requires that you open up touch that button where the grade is for my class, open it up and look back and see what the marks were for the different criteria. And hopefully I posted it right, explaining what the, you know, I don't just say criterion B, investigating. I hope I've talked about what we were investigating there. And if I haven't, I'm getting better at that now. Okay.
And one more thing is, please practice with your children the use of the language. The learner profiles, they should be using these words in their everyday life. We're using them in class a lot. We're like, oh, you're being a very good inquirer today. That was very caring of you to help that other child, that other student with their assignment or whatever.
Are you being principled?
Are you being principled right now?
Yeah.
Okay, and so use these words. If you don't know them before you leave, take a picture with your camera so you can practice, you know, throwing in 1 or 2. Also, the areas of interaction, these are the ones that this is what we really target, and all the activities that we do have to deal with one of those areas of interaction. And the kid should always be able to tell you what their unit title is for any subject, what their unit question is for any subject, what their area of interaction is, and what the learner profile is that we're focusing on for that project. So use those words, ask them, constantly ask them. You don't know, it's okay, don't get mad at them. Go back and check it. I'm gonna ask you again tomorrow, okay? You know, and so just encourage, be encouraging, because they're getting used to it.
I love seeing our principal walk into classrooms and say, what are you learning? Tell me about what you're learning. What do you think about that? He loves to see the thinking and the learning that is happening. Are there any questions about the IB marks and the grade? No? Thank you. Could you do the next slide? It's your turn, Ms. Stevens.
Attendance.